Black channel. They're cutting the check and making sure that everyone is fully funded across the board. Everyone except us. The Black channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program, I really wanted to go ahead and make sure I had things compartmentalized into one place here, so we can go ahead and catch up on a couple of things in that regard, because I want you to be fully informed. And making sure that you are fully informed, first and foremost, as the Black Media, is making sure that you are up to date on exactly what is happening. Making sure that people don't get to pull the wool over your eyes and claim that things are not happening that actually are. Now, if you'll all remember, there was this jackass so-called immigration attorney that I showed you all from Twitter here, swearing up and down about the things that weren't happening, the things that weren't getting, oh, you can't get this, you can't get that if you're illegals, so let as many in as you can there. Yeah, he was talking about that right there. And then, oh man, boom shakalaka. Let's go ahead and first take you to Newsweek. And this is dated just 2 days ago. Not 2 years ago, even though all this started a few years ago. No, just 2 days ago. Headline: California. California moves toward zero down payment mortgages for illegal aliens. What? Yeah, you read that right. If you'll all remember, over a decade ago, I told you that if they're bringing the illegals over here, don't let any of them sit up here and tell you about they came over with nothing. They didn't have to come over with anything. They got a bag waiting for them coming over here. If they had to do what we had to do, they would be a permanent underclass. If they actually had to do and overcome what we've had to do and overcome, they would be a permanent underclass. No, they didn't get over anything. They're not getting over anything now. That's a lie they tell you. Everybody says the same lie. We're the only people who have to earn it. The descendants of the American slaves are the only ones who have to earn anything. These other folks here are being given it because if you didn't give it to them, they would be a permanent underclass. You have to give them free housing, give them free health care, give them free tuition, give them free education. You have to do that. Otherwise, you ain't gonna make it. That's the bottom line. You won't make it if they don't give it to them like that. They got to have a leg up, forget bootstraps. You got to have a whole staircase. Otherwise, you ain't gonna make it. And they're coming back year after year and reinforcing it and showing it all over again. By the way, yeah, you ain't gonna make it. Now, here's the thing about this. It's one thing if this were the private sector. It would be one thing if this were the private sector doing this. Here's the difference. That would be bad enough if it were the private sector, but it's not. That's the issue. Zero down payment mortgages. Oh, trust me, it goes on beyond that. Let me go ahead and show you the article here. A California bill that would aid undocumented migrants, illegal aliens, on the path to citizenship, home ownership. Notice it says on the path to home ownership, not citizenship, home ownership. So in other words, they're bypassing the citizenship thing altogether because we have got to flood the zone against Negroes. We've got to make sure that the buffer classes are so thick you couldn't drive an 18-wheeler through it. The bill has advanced in the state legislature. Democrats, shout out Kamala Harris. You want to know what let me just tell y'all the truth. You want to know what Kamala Harris got for laying down for Willie Brown? You want to know what that got? That got people like him in the legislature. Let me tell y'all right there, they don't give a damn. The biggest simp betas you ever met are in politics. They don't give a damn as long as he got some sexual access. And his sexual access back in the 90s, you had such a degenerate as Willie Brown, so slavish to that by the way, this is what you open up the door for here. Okay. He got to lay up with Kamala Harris. Now they're going, what he was doing to her, now they're going to do to everybody else. Democrats on the California Senate Appropriations Committee last week unanimously, look it up, all together, no exceptions, in complete unity, 100%, all of the Democrats on the Senate Appropriations Committee last week approved AB 1840, a bill that would amend the California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program. Dream for All Shared Appreciation. Shared? Who's sharing the appreciation? How many of you appreciate this? Shared appreciation for non-citizens? What the hee-haw hell hey? The California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan Program, by preventing it from denying prospective homeowners based on their immigration status. Don't you mean citizenship status? The program was launched in 2023 and gives first-time home buyers in the Golden State a loan of up to 20% of the home's purchase price to be used as a down payment. Did you get that? So they don't even have to come up with a down payment. They'll give you the 20% you're supposed to put down. Oh, don't worry, we'll give you that too. Yeah, you need 20% down. Why don't you get out there and work hard? And, hey, we're hardest working. Oh, no. Gotta bypass that. Nope. All of a sudden now, whoa, where's all the hard-working illegal aliens they tell you about? That just went to hell, didn't it? That just went up in smoke. The state loan was given up to 20% of the home's purchase price to be used as a down payment. The bill will effectively allow illegal aliens to buy homes without having to save for years to fund a down payment. Damn! Which is almost always required by financial firms providing mortgages. While Kamala Harris is sitting up here gaslighting folks talking about, if put me in the White House, if y'all will vote for me, ski-wee, if you get me in the White House, I'll see about 25,000. Out there in California telling black folk, we need a commission for reparations. We need a commission and a committee and a study and another commission and another committee and another study and vote blue no matter who. Meanwhile, for these other folk right here, no commission required. Get that bill on up here. Not for no 25,000, they cutting the check for the whole down payment while telling you what you won't be able to get. Your tax dollars going to this, so they can turn around and tell you, we worked hard when we got over here. We were hardworking. We came here with nothing. You didn't come here because you were going to get nothing. You came here to get a bag. You came here to get a bag, and the bag is getting bigger off our backs. When you hear some jackass like Roland Martin trying to sit up here and defend Kamala Harris, by the way, he isn't saying a word about this. You're not going to find bowling ball, fish bowl head Martin saying a word about this. The old dead black media saying a word about this. Michael Emo the Hotep not saying a word about this because they can't. You can't defend this. So they're just going to hope that they can memory hole it and hope it goes away. They can't defend this. And that's why they don't want anybody to say anything to them. That's why when folks run up on them, they run out. Now listen to this next part. The loans from the program don't accrue interest. What? Or require monthly payments. Damn. And when the main mortgage is refinanced or the house is sold again, the borrower pays back the original amount of the loan plus 20% of any increase in value. They're giving them free money. Interest free. They tell you and me we can't get zero taxes as the descendants of slaves, no reparation. We can't get zero taxes. We can't get tax free, nothing. They're giving these folks in California, while they're sitting up here stalling around with us, they're giving them free money. They're calling it a loan, but you don't have to give a payment. It doesn't require a payment, and it's not accruing interest for illegals. These are non-citizens who have broken the law coming in here. Their very presence in California is breaking the law, and they're saying, yep, don't worry about that. So the white men who break the law and employ them are not being hit under RICO, and these folks are not being hit under federal statutes. But black parents who have their kid in a different school district are in handcuffs. This is what a race war looks like. When some asshat in your family tries to tell you that's not what's really going on, I'm bringing you the documentation. This is going on in California right now. It's not the law yet, but it's almost there. The legislation now only needs the approval of the Democrat supermajority state Senate. So they just need the Democrats who already have a supermajority in the Senate. Supermajority means 2/3. They already got a supermajority in the Senate. And a signature from Governor Gavin Newsom. That's all. That's the only thing stopping it now is for the Democrats in the Senate to go ahead and sign off. And then the governor signs it. And boom, it's the law. Illegal aliens will now be part of the state budget in California. Stalling us for reparations and talking about what they can't do. But illegal aliens are about to be part of the California state budget. Now, I'm putting it in those terms so that you can wrap your head around it. They're about to be a part of the state budget of California while they're telling you what they can't do and don't have money for. Quote, the social and economic benefits of home ownership should be available to everyone. As such, the California Dream for All program should be available to all, bill author and assembly member Joaquin Arambula said, according to a report in the LA Times. Quote, when undocumented individuals are excluded from such programs, they miss out on a crucial method of securing financial security and personal stability for themselves and their families. A representative for Joaquin Arambula told Newsweek they do not have comment at this time as the bill continues through the legislative process. While they're telling you and me what they're not able to do, while they're telling you and me what they're not able to make happen, while they got us going around and around for years, yet for these other folk, that's not occurring. It isn't occurring for them. Not at all. If you think or if you have told yourself that the deviant obsession with interracial sexual access from the baby boomer generation and the civil rights generation was harmless, if you told yourself that all of that was harmless, stand by the elders. If you told yourself that, by the way, this is the inevitable outcome. The bill hasn't been without its critics. Quote, once again, California has chosen to prioritize illegal immigration and fiscal irresponsibility over the needs of its citizens, all while facing a $60 billion deficit that will ultimately be passed on to taxpayers, San Diego County Supervisor Jim Desmond told the Daily Caller. Quote, California is in dire financial straits, yet lawmakers continue to prioritize programs that incentivize illegal aliens and strain local resources. Expanding this program to include illegal aliens is not just another handout. It's a massive overreach that shifts the financial burden onto law-abiding taxpayers. California's budget deficit continues to grow, and Democratic lawmakers are so out of touch with everyday Californians that they are quite literally taking money away from law-abiding citizens, their own constituents, and handing it over as a free gift to people who broke federal law to cross the border illegally, Republican Senator Brian Dahl said. There's no accountability and transparency when it comes to the Democrats' spending sprees, and it's unfortunate because many Californians see home ownership as nothing more than illusion at this point. According to the Pew Research Center, an estimated 1.8 million of California's more than 39 million residents are undocumented illegal aliens as of 2022. Folks, do you know that in California, you've got dozens of cities in California where the median home price is $1 million? Auntie, chill. I've covered this before on both of my YouTube channels, but by the way, the median home price in dozens of California cities is $1 million. $1 million, people. That's not a joke right there. $1 million. Not just one or two. I've covered this before. Let me go ahead and see if I can pull that back up for you here, because I've covered that before. Yeah, let's go ahead and drop this on you right quick. This article here was on Fox Business and a bunch of other places. There are now 550 U.S. cities where the typical home value is $1 million or more. When you go down to their list, New York City, has 106. San Francisco, 69. Los Angeles, 63. San Jose, 18. San Diego, 10. Santa Barbara, Santa Rosa, 9. Think about that for a few moments. While they're sitting up here telling you that illegals can't afford this, so don't worry, we'll put them in the state budget so they can get it. We'll put them in the state budget so they can afford the $1 million homes here. So you can't afford it, but they're going to make sure that people who are lawbreakers, who shouldn't even be standing on the soil, we're going to put them in the state budget so they can afford the $1 million homes in Los Angeles, and so they can get the down payment. We're going to make sure they get the down payment interest-free, no payments, no down payment, and you can just pay us back later, if ever. This is not earning wealth. This is giving them a big old bag to start with. This is giving them an asset. The state is just footing them an asset in California. They're footing them an asset in California. They're footing them an asset in California. That's where it's starting, but that's not where it's ending. New York Post. Oh, fellas, ladies, boys and girls, children of all ages. I'm Jason Black. I did not bring you receipts. I brought you invoices. I didn't just tell you what you pay. I'm telling you what you owe. You thought I'm stopping in California? Hell no. Let's move on up the coast. Oregon. First-time home buyers in Oregon get $30,000 grant, but American citizens aren't eligible. What? That's the catch. That's the requirement. There's a program in Oregon now, state funded, $30,000 grant, just so long as you're not an American citizen. Well, I wonder which part of the population this is for. It says here that first-time home buyers in Oregon are being encouraged to apply for a taxpayer-funded $30,000 grant for down payment assistance, but only non-U.S. citizens need apply. Latino-led housing support group Hacienda Community Development Corporation in Portland is advertising the perk through its Camino a Casa program, which stipulates that it is, quote, only for people who are not American citizens. Do you see how bold they done got with it? With this guy here looking like the damn Hamburglar, do you see how bold they done got with it? Where is Ed Blum? Damn! Has anybody seen Ed Blum lately? Paging Ed Blum. I know you're busy practicing white supremacy and whatnot, but by the way, anybody seen Ed Blum lately? Heritage Foundation and all them folks who target black people. By the way, just in case you think, well, they don't like it neither. Where are they? Where are they? You know, because they're not white supremacists, remember? Why, they're just concerned about unfair treatment and discrimination based on race, remember? Okay, so where are they? Why, they've been in front of federal courts, the Supreme Court. While they fought affirmative action, they've been all over the place. Okay, and by the way, where are they? Anybody seen them? Anybody heard from them? For some of the Candace Owens ass kissers out there, by the way, if you were consistent, this would never have gotten off the ground because he'd already be there, right? So he's not saying a word about this. They're doing nothing about this. Seems like you're targeting only one group of people. Let me go ahead and give you all the rest of the ballistics here. Republican Oregon State Senator, State Representative Ed Deal called the effort, quote, state-sponsored discrimination, and noted that he is appalled that the hard-earned limited tax dollars of Oregonians are being used to prioritize home ownership for certain non-U.S. citizens, according to the Daily Caller. Oregon was a sundown state that still has a very strident, very virulent, anti-black sentiment and policy. And yet, that's the next thing. That's the next thing. In the chat room there, Bill Harris, so glad you asked that question. When I open up the Zoom here in a little bit, you'll be calling in. So let's go ahead and put this page information to the side. So glad you asked that question. So glad you'll be calling up here so we can discuss that. The funds come from the state's tax-funded economic equity investment program, a program that aims to build economic equity for disadvantaged people. Damn! Which allocated a $692,775 grant to Hacienda. Republican elected officials in Oregon, a blue state, are taking steps to repeal some of the state's sanctuary laws. Yeah, meanwhile, this is giving them sanctuary. By the way, that right there is giving them sanctuary. These folks are not playing around. They understand you cannot make it in America if you don't have the seed capital already There is no pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. They're making sure that these other folks are illegally making sure that they are fully funded, because they know otherwise you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Not going to happen. I've told you all here for years and years. I've told you exactly why that is. Those things happen here because there is a special relationship that this society has with us. There's a special relationship that this society has with us, and that relationship is hostile as hell. We are the people which they judge the health of white supremacy against. I'm going ahead and posting the link to the articles there in the chat room. But we are the people that they measure the health of white supremacy against. These other folks are annoyances, but they are not the people that they measure the health of white supremacy against. It doesn't matter how high up the ladder Asians go. It doesn't matter to them how high up the ladder white Latinos get. Arabs can commit wholesale terrorism across the eastern seaboard. All of that is acceptable and tolerable. They don't have the history with those people that they have with us. You see, when we say that white supremacy is a religion, please understand what that means. But that means that hating us has a spiritual significance. There is a spiritual component in the dominant society, but it's only activated toward us. It isn't activated towards others, just us, only us. We are the metric through which they gauge whether or not they are weak. So you see, brutalization against us, that's the only thing that they have to make a priority. Otherwise, white supremacy is not strong. Let's hop to the other side of the country. The Breonna Taylor case, the Breonna Taylor murder. And already the judges over there, they're hoping under cover of the election that the folks are distracted. Unfortunately for them, the black media is on the case. But for those of you who are not aware, this has happened. Judge rules Breonna Taylor's boyfriend caused her death. What? No, I'm serious. Dismisses some charges against ex-officers. Now, if you don't understand that the white supremacists are very much still there, if you thought that Judge Schrader with Kyle Rittenhouse was the only one, oh no, the rest of them are still out there, very much alive and well and working. White supremacists behind the bench, traded in the white robes of the Klan for the black robes of the judge, and they're still doing it. And this headline is not exaggerating. Dateline, Louisville, Kentucky, a federal judge has thrown out major felony charges against two former Louisville police officers accused of falsifying a warrant that led to Breonna Taylor's door before they fatally shot, that led police to Breonna Taylor's door before they fatally shot her. U.S. District Judge Charles Simpson, white, his ruling declared that the actions of Taylor's boyfriend, who fired a shot at police the night of the raid, were the legal cause of her death, not a bad search warrant. Did you get that? They kicked in the door illegally, assaulted their apartment illegally, and he's saying that you defending yourself. Well, the police, it's your fault that the police gunned her down because you were defending yourself. So these people who tell you that you have the right to defend yourself and that police do not have, there's no law that says the police have a right to assault you and that you cannot defend yourself against that. Well, now you have a federal judge saying, actually, no, No. For you niggas, no. Everybody else, no. Niggas, no. Not you. It's your fault. Yeah, the police kicked in the door. Illegal search warrant obtained fraudulently. He's not taking up issue with that. Illegal search warrant obtained fraudulently. Kicked in your front door. Illegal. And yeah. Everyone except you. Federal charges against former Louisville Police Detective Joshua James and former Sergeant Kyle Meany were announced by U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland in 2022 during a high-profile visit to Louisville, a visit during an election year. Now, during another election year, you take a look at what's happening here. Garland accused James and Meany, who were not present at the raid, of knowing they had falsified part of the warrant and put Taylor in a dangerous situation by sending armed officers to her apartment. But Judge Simpson wrote in the Tuesday ruling that, quote, there is no direct link between the warrantless entry and Breonna Taylor's death. Because I'm white, and I say so. Simpson's ruling effectively reduced the civil rights violation charges against James and Meany, which had carried a maximum sentence of life in prison, to misdemeanors. And this is what a race war looks like. Don't tell me about what happened to the Jews in Nazi Germany. This is what is happening to us today. In the American courts today, not 70 years ago in Nazi Germany. This is happening to us right here, right now, today in America, continues uninterrupted. Damn right, cut the check. Damn right we need reparations because damn right we are victims. This is victimization. When we talk about $1 million of whiteness, black police officers, Officer Muhammad Noor, you can't do nothing like this and have a judge stand up here and say, yeah, I'm throwing the law out. Kyle Rittenhouse, yeah, I'm throwing the law out. And another thing right here, it has not escaped me, Merrick Garland. They did not prosecute Carolyn Bryant for Emmett Till. They haven't prosecuted any of these real white supremacists. They grabbed one down there in Georgia, the McMichaels, and think we're going to sit up here and ignore all the rest of them. No, we're not. Let me explain something to y'all. Y'all understand this? When the feds serve you with a subpoena, when the feds serve you with a summons, when the feds serve you with an indictment, remember, the feds have a 95+% conviction rate. Remember? Remember, y'all, the feds have a 95+% conviction rate. When the feds take you into court, your chances of getting convicted are over 95%. Last thing you want to see is a federal indictment. Their conviction rate is over 95%. But Merrick Garland has not one, but two police officers up there. And oh, well, what do you know? Can't just make it work there, couldn't make it happen. What happened to that 95+ conviction rate? Because black folk can't never get out of it. You can bring all the lawyers and everything else you want. Black folk can't never get out of it. We show up and all of a sudden it's okay, here comes that 95%. So I just wanted to remind you all, just in case you want to put all the blame on the judge. By the way, hey, Merrick Garland, what happened to that damn 95, 96, 97% conviction rate? What happened? Says here that federal charges against former Louisville Police Detective Joshua James and former Sergeant Kyle Meany were announced. Federal Okay, I'm going back to where I was. The judge declined to dismiss a conspiracy charge against James and another charge against Meany, who is accused of making false statements to investigators. When police carrying a drug warrant broke down Taylor's door in March of 2020, it's now 2024, her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired a shot that struck an officer in the leg. Walker said he believed an intruder was bursting in. Because they were. He believed an intruder was bursting in because intruders were bursting in. Officers returned fire, striking and killing Taylor, a 26-year-old black woman, in her hallway. Folks, let me remind you again. Breonna Taylor was naked. Breonna Taylor was naked. People, Breonna Taylor was naked. She was not wearing any clothing. For those of you who have forgotten, Breonna Taylor was naked. She didn't even get the Fred Hampton treatment. Breonna Taylor was naked. And yes, she wasn't in the hallway. So Breonna Taylor, by the way, y'all, Breonna Taylor was naked. She was shot several times. But then again, your blackness is your weapon. Please tell me the last time that a naked, somebody who wants to up here and talk about they shoot white folk too. Please tell me the last time that a naked white woman was gunned down in her home. I'll wait. No, not a white woman wearing some booty shorts. A completely naked, unarmed white woman gunned down in her home. When has that occurred? Where's she happened at? You can't find anything remotely similar. If they shoot that white woman, she did it. We're the only people on the earth that you can see routinely, get shot in the back 5 times, get shot naked 8 times. Female, unarmed, completely stark naked. Oh, gotta die. Simpson concluded that Walker's, quote, conduct became the approximate or legal cause of Taylor's death. This son of a bastard on the bench is literally saying that defending themselves against armed intruders with a fake warrant, why, you're responsible for it. So they're supposed to just come in there and gun you down. Quote, while the indictment alleges that James and Meany set off a series of events that ended in Taylor's death, it also alleges that Walker disrupted those events when he decided to open fire on the police, Simpson said. Well, yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping he was disrupting those events because they were coming there to kill somebody, and they did. Walker was initially arrested and charged with attempted murder of a police officer, but that charge was later dropped after his attorneys argued Walker didn't know he was firing at police. Duh. Obviously, we are devastated at the moment by the judge's ruling, with which we disagree and are just trying to process everything, Taylor's family wrote in a statement Friday to the Associated Press. It said prosecutors told the family they planned to appeal Simpson's ruling. Quote, the only thing we can do at this point is continue to be patient. We will continue to fight until we get full justice for Breonna Taylor. The U.S. Justice Department said in an email that it is reviewing the judge's decision and assessing next steps. A third former officer charged in the federal warrant case, Kelly Goodlett, pleaded guilty in 2022 to a conspiracy charge and is expected to testify against James and Meany at their trials. That's why the judge is trying to throw out everything he can now. The judge, in collusion with Merrick Garland, by the way, and Kristen Clark, those two have gotten together. We're going to make sure we throw out any serious stuff before we get started. So it'll all be slaps on the wrist. Federal prosecutors alleged James, who drew up the Taylor warrant, had claimed to Goodlet days before the warrant was served that he had, quote, verified from a postal inspector that a suspected drug dealer was receiving packages at Taylor's apartment. But Goodlet knew that was false. Now, here's the whole point. They made up the warrant. And remember, the white media for years now has been acting like it's uncertain and it's unclear, and we're not sure if they lied to get that warrant. That they lied about the postal inspectors, and that the postal inspectors did not actually say, no, this never happened. We didn't confirm any of that. Remember, the white media for years has been playing dumb about this. Only over here in the black media have we been consistent that no, that was a fake warrant. They lied. The postal inspector said that's not true. We didn't say that. We didn't say that they were giving those packages. We didn't say that. And the white media, MSNBC, Bonehead Joy Reid, Bowling Ball Martin, they have not been sitting up here telling you, by the way, the media has been lying the whole time. They've lied the whole time. They've been acting like we're not sure, we're not certain. You read most of the stories and they don't go into this part right here, which is, by the way, the cop lied to get the warrant. He claimed postal inspectors had verified it. And they said, no, we didn't. That's a lie. That didn't come from us. And then you have a judge saying, oh, well. Well, the fact that they lied to get the warrant doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you're defending yourself. The fact that they lied to get the warrant doesn't change the fact that you can't defend yourself against the lying cops who kicked in your door. That's what the judge is literally saying. Well, the fact they lied to get the warrant, that don't mean nothing. That has no bearing on you. You fired on the folks who lied. But they lied and kicked in the door. They're not even supposed to be here. They are the definition of intruders. No, they're police, so they have the right to lie. Okay. By the way, just one brief aside for all of you Alex Jones jackasses. Remember the Alex Joneses. I told you for decades, don't you all be stupid. All you Candace ass kissers, don't be stupid getting behind folk like Alex Jones, because they swear up and down that they're against the system and against the police state. And then as soon as something happens to black folk, they're against the police state, unless they're oppressing black people. Then they become the biggest back the blue people you ever met. Dead silent about this. So what does that tell you? They approve of the police. They back the police long as they're killing us. Goodlet knew that was false and told James the warrant did not yet have enough information connecting Taylor to criminal activity, prosecutors said. She added a paragraph saying the suspected drug dealer was using Taylor's apartment as his current address, according to court records. So they just made things up. And the postal inspectors confirmed it. 2 months later, when the Taylor shooting was attracting national headlines, James and Goodlet met in James' garage to, quote, get on the same page. Before James talked to investigators about the Taylor warrant, court records said. A fourth former officer, Brett Hankinson, was also charged by federal prosecutors in 2022 with endangering the lives of Taylor, Walker, and some of her neighbors when he fired into Taylor's windows. A trial last year ended with a hung jury. But Hankinson is scheduled to be retried on those charges in October. Folks, y'all are not stupid after all these damn years. You know full damn well there is no hung jury unless the prosecutor wants there to be a hung jury. There is no hung jury unless they want there to be one. Then they're going to come back and say, oh, well, there was a hung jury, so we're going to lower the charges against them because, well, you see, the jury wouldn't let it through before, so we need to lower the charges against them so we can get a conviction because, oh, well, the jury just won't convict them. Now, when your black ass goes into court, all of a sudden you can get convicted left, right, and center with zero physical evidence. Ain't that right, Central Park 5? Ain't that right, Ozone? When you're black, you can get convicted with no witnesses, no physical evidence. You can get convicted. No hung jury for you. But for these folk right here, cop after cop involved in here, we can't get a conviction on them yet. Got them dead to rights, all the evidence stacked up, and we can't get a conviction on them yet. So you thought it was just the two cops they're talking about now. Yeah, by the way, Hankerson is still floating around out there. Yeah, he got a hung jury. Yeah, no conviction just yet. Can't get nothing on him. Can't get nothing on him. But out there in California, this can happen out there in California. Up in Oregon, this can happen up there in Oregon. Please remember, we have a unique relationship in this society. They measure the health of white supremacy against how easily and free they are. When they say free, it's not free if they cannot brutalize and victimize us. As far as they're concerned, they're not free. They're not free until they have the ability to harm us and violate us. Otherwise, they're not free. So that's why it is a necessity that they are able to violate our human rights. It's a necessity to be able to do that, because otherwise, white supremacy must be weak. As far as they're concerned, white supremacy is not strong unless they have the ability to violate our rights. Then they say it's strong. Then they say it. Then they all agree, okay, everything's all right. We can harm them with impunity. Everything is fine. And this is where we really are. This is where we really are. However, some of you might disagree. Therefore, we're going to go ahead and open up the Zoom for you here, so you can go ahead and call us up about that. You can tell me if we are exaggerating or overblowing the situation, and ain't nothing really to worry about. Well, this is just, Jason, ain't no big deal. Vote blue no matter who. What's the big issue? Right? We got to stop Trump. We got to stop Trump, though. You know, the Democrats ain't right about everything, but we got to stop Trump. Got to stop Trump. Really? Really? So we still have to focus on that, right? Okay. In the meantime here, I want to thank everyone who has contributed toward tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Andrea Roberson, Cornell Sly, John Gilroy, Terry, Black to Dev, everybody else here who has Black Power Podcast and getting your channel memberships in. We appreciate that as well. Evan, Abigail, Mark B, and everyone else, thank you for contributing toward tonight's program. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, you'll have your opportunity to weigh in and more. This is the Black Channel.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified financial planner Jason Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement, even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.
Hi, I'm Mr. B, and I welcome you to visit my website, mrbtheteacher.com. Explore our site for my latest book, my blog, and podcast that are packed with insightful articles, tips, and strategies to help students navigate the educational journey. Need more help? Check out my education consulting and tutoring services for engaging lessons, downloadable resources, and personalized learning plans. Please join us at MrBeTheTeacher.com today. Thank you all for listening.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And to go ahead and call us up, we have the link for the Zoom there pinned at the top of the chat room there. Bill, by the way, Bill Harris was commenting earlier at the beginning of the program. So it is time for him to go ahead and he can give us a call. Not he can give us a call, he must give us a call here. He can go ahead and call us up on Zoom, and we can go ahead and answer all of his questions. You know, you've had folk out there trying to gaslight you and tell you about what isn't happening. You've had a whole bunch of folks out here trying to gaslight folks, trying to tell you what they're not doing. And the whole point of that is to get you to stop demanding anything. They're telling you everything's all right. They're telling you everything's fine. Have you all noticed the Divine Nine and the Boule butt kissers? None of them are saying anything about what I've shown you here tonight. How the hell can that be? They're sitting up here telling you to support the California politicians. The California politicians ain't taking 50 years of commissions and studies and nothing else. They're just going ahead and passing laws and saying, oh, well, cut the check. And telling you and me what they're not going to do and what they can't do. And if we just keep on voting, well, one of these days the times will get better. What is my function as the Black media? My function as the Black media here is to go and find this information, bring it back to you so that when other people attempt to mislead you and deceive you, you can sit there and say, wait, I got hard evidence. That's not true. That someone will try to tell you that Kamala Harris is going to be your savior and that she's tough on the border. What? This is tough on the border, remember? This is California, remember? This is what they do, remember? This is them telling us what to do. Remember? These folks here think that we're not going to compare notes. And if we don't say it here, it doesn't get said. There's the whole point. If we don't say it here, it doesn't get said. If we don't have this discussion here, it doesn't get said. Most folks, even in California, don't know that this bill has been moving through the legislature. We've been so focused on reparations and things, but by the way, that right there, they slow walking. This right here is like, oh, fast track. And this is what they have done historically, remember? This is what they've done historically. Every time they talk about, quote, civil rights, anything that focuses on black people, they immediately get to work on something for illegals, so-called immigrants. They immediately go straight to that. Soon as it's time to pass a law that's supposed to do something for us, they immediately say, okay, and immigrants too. And these are the white politicians. Please remember, this goes back all the way to the 60s. These are the white politicians that as soon as it was time to do something for us, they refused to do something for us unless they could sneak in a poison pill right behind it. Now, what happened was it wasn't working well enough, so they finally had to just resort to I'm white and I say so. We don't give a damn if they're here illegally. We're going to give them access to money, access to taxpayer funds, access to government. We're not even going to go through the process of immigrating them and making them citizens. That's taking too damn long. Just if they get over here, they're de facto citizens. We're going to give them protection. They're going to get their buffer class protection. We ain't going to fool with that citizenship stuff no more. We done with that. Finally, they just had to finally break down and get to we white and we say so. We're white and we say so. That's it. We're doing this. Talk about these things about way this isn't at the federal level, this is at the state level. This isn't at the federal level, this is at the state level. This is at the state level, so when folks tell you to vote down ballot, what? When folks try to tell you about voting down ballot, by the way, down this ballot, you mean? Down this ballot? You'll notice that your black politicians are quiet as hell. But then again, now you have an idea of what your so-called black politicians are really all about and who they're actually supporting. When you take a look at Karen Bass, when you take a look at Willie Brown, when you take a look at all them folk right there, what you notice is a similarity. Their obsession is interracial sexual access. They don't give a damn about black folk. And the Democrats said, oh, let me make you the mayor of Los Angeles. Come on, Willie Brown. We know you don't have allegiance to nobody but yourself. Neither you nor your bedwench.
Nigga, please.
Neither you nor your bedwench have any allegiance to anyone other than yourselves. The perfect group of little puppets for them to sit up here and bandy around. And if I didn't present this information to show you that when other folks tell you, oh, there are no programs giving houses to illegals, nobody's doing that. There's no program doing that. Now I've shown you. And by the way, these are just two recent examples. I'm not going to go into Section 8 and housing assistance. We're well beyond housing assistance. We're talking about mortgages now, people. Government money being spent to provide these folks with mortgages while telling you that you need to work a lot more. Let me go ahead and hop over here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and get Sage up here on Zoom. All right, Sage, make sure you have your microphone on. We're waiting for that to come up there. There you go. All right, Sage, what's on your mind?
Sorry about that, brother Black. You got me good?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
So I wanted to jump on. I'm glad you talked about this topic tonight. So we spoke a year or two back on your other broadcast, on your other channel, that is, and we spoke about home ownership and owning things. And I'm currently in the process of purchasing a property in the state of New Jersey. And what you touched upon was the first generation home ownership. Now, that's something that I was not eligible for, because when I spoke to the realtor about a week ago, she told me because my parent owns a property within the United States of America, I'm not eligible for that program that you're talking about, where it's $0 down to purchase a property. So I'm so glad that you're touching up on this, because that's a direct slight against the citizens of this country. Now, what's your thoughts on that, big brother?
Well, particularly black folk in particular. Here's the thing, folks. Lee Atwater talked about this, and this is the game they've been playing. When that recording of Lee Atwater, he was one of Richard Nixon's hatchet men, and they talked about how things had to change after desegregation. He said that before desegregation, they could sit up here and just say, hey, nigga this, nigga that, and keep the niggas out. They could do that. Once desegregation happens, you can't do that anymore. You can't say that anymore, so they had to switch up. Now we have to switch the terms, but we know full well what we're doing. We're describing black folks' conditions without saying black. That's the whole thing. So what they're doing is looking at things that are either disproportionately or completely characteristic of your position and where you're at, and then we target that. And then we claim there's no racial aspect to it. One of Richard Nixon's other hatchet men said the same thing, that the goal, the problem really is the blacks, and the goal is to craft policy that recognizes this while appearing not to. So we didn't say black. We just said folks formerly incarcerated in Compton, California, this is Govt. We didn't say black, though. That's the game they're playing. With white folk, they understand with housing. They were given, folks, what we're talking about with the illegals today, the white folk were given this over a century ago. The Homestead Act gave them that a century ago.
So.
Now it's your turn, and all of a sudden they tell you, oh, not you, over a century later. They already got theirs. So this idea of what you shouldn't have, oh, well, somebody in your family already got a house. Well, they already gave the white folk all the houses they could stand. They did it with the Homestead Act and then did it again with the GI Bill after World War II. Less than 50 years. About 50 years. They did it with the Homestead Act and then they did it again with the GI Bill. And remember, black GIs, they claim you had access to it, yeah, but then you came back over here with redlining and segregated neighborhoods. You couldn't use your GI Bill. What do you know? You got the same GI Bill. Well, the white guys, well, you got a GI Bill too. Yeah, you got it, but you can't use it. Except in the same neighborhoods you came from. You couldn't use yours. So those rules only get thrown up because they know, oh, this targets a certain part of the population. You. But then again, you've been maneuvered into this. You're not in that situation accidentally. You were maneuvered into this. You were engineered into this. You were placed into this. And they're throwing up those obstacles there because, yeah, let's see if we can go ahead and hold it up as long as we can. So you're absolutely right. It's not your mind playing tricks on you. They know the statistics. They've maneuvered you into the statistics. Now we'll just go ahead and throw the brick wall. These other folks over here, they're saying that now, but here's the issue. The issue is that if they are illegal aliens, then you're not documenting them anyway. So the whole damn family can go apply for this. Right. You can't hide your family. Right. Your family is documented. They're all over your credit report. You can't hide yours. So to all of the jingle bell, jigaboom jackasses out there who are talking about, what y'all talking about there? When they leave Mexico, they leave their credit behind and they can start over in America with a clean slate. Y'all lying about that. There's the true proof on your screen right there. And this is just one of them. They come over here and can start over with a clean slate. Nobody is holding whatever their financial situation was in Mexico, whatever their debts were in Mexico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, or whatever. Nobody's holding that against them over here. Nobody's checking documentation or paperwork. They're not checking anybody except next to kin, which is whoever you name. Okay, he'll name this person over here, and then the other 10 folk he ain't saying nothing about. And then they go off and go apply, and then they don't say nothing about the other folk over here. So you got 8 folk in the same damn room, all signed up for the same program, and I'm showing you right now where you can see there, you can't prove that they're not all together. You can't do that. You and your brother can't go do this. You can't sit up and say, I don't know this fellow over here, and y'all get away with it. You can't do it. So that's what I mean. It seems like, oh, how does that work? Yeah, it's targeting you being black while allegedly seeming not to.
So the way it was explained to me too was this helps black people because a lot of black people don't own things, don't own property within the United States of America. What's your feelings on that, big bro?
That we don't own things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are they trying to claim? That they're trying to, I don't get the point, that they're trying to spread it around or something by denying somebody here?
I have no idea. What she said is that a lot of us don't own houses, so this would actually benefit us. Yeah, it would benefit the Hispanics and the illegals, but it'll also benefit us. But I think that's a fallacy because when you go down south, a lot of black people own their houses down south. So it's not just
no. Here's the issue. Let me take your case specifically, for example. Okay, you said that they told you that because somebody in your family owned the house already. Who was the somebody in your family they were referring to?
My father.
Okay. Where's the house now?
That he owns?
Yes.
It's in New Jersey.
Okay. But that's not a benefit to you if you don't have access to it.
It's not.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing right here. When they talk about that right there, in white society, after a century, they don't have just one house. Folks all in the family got multiple homes and properties to the point that when they start dying out, they got to start selling things. That's where they're at today. They don't have just one house. Let me give you all a numerical fact about something right here outside of black society, not within black society. Did you all know that Mercedes keeps statistics on their customer base? They keep specific, accurate statistics on their customer base. And the typical Mercedes customer is over the age of 50, and their Mercedes car is their second or third car. It's not their primary transportation. That's the way it is with white society and homes. So when you talk to some white folk, there's never just one house in the family. I'm talking about in your direct bloodline lineage. From you to your parents to your grandparents, there's never just one. Never. There's several. They sit up here telling you about one. That your father's house is not a benefit to you. Even if somebody wants to try to claim that it's in your family, the problem is with these other folks, the reason why it's stored wealth is because theirs is paid off. By the way, is your dad's house paid off?
Yes.
That's great. He still lives in it. That's not a benefit to you. And furthermore, even if you want to claim it was, add up the equity that he has in it and whatever financial benefit it makes to quote unquote the family, even if you want to assume that you have access to the equity of it, which you don't, but even assuming that you did, that still doesn't put you on par with the dominant society and the other folk over here. No, your family needs about 7 or 8 more houses before you can run that game. No, to put me on par with y'all talking about. No, it's not about black folk having a house. It's about black folk having generational wealth. Your dad's just now gotten his paid off, and it has no bearing on you, and it's no benefit to you. I'll be damned. It's not like you can go out and go take anything out of it. So that's a benefit to him. There's not 5 or 6 sitting around in the family. In white society, they are 1 degree of separation from a millionaire. 1. Black folk are at least 7 to 10 steps away, and usually it's a white person. So none of these things right there, that doesn't apply. They're using metrics that apply to white folk, and they know this, and then claiming, oh, we got to hold you to the same standard. Well, no, I can't be held to the same standard because I'm not under the same circumstances. It's not the same, and they know this. So this isn't about making it easier, it's about making it harder, while telling you that they're trying to make it easier for others. No, they're not. They're trying to make it harder for everybody.
Last question for you, big bro. Because you're the one that usually you've coined the term, this is good. So I know you can find the good in everything. What exactly, because I haven't heard you say that in a little while. What exactly is good about this situation that we're in today?
Okay, well, I'm not going to say that I can find the good in everything, because everything does not have good to it. The only thing I can say good in that regard is that if you're aware of it, that's about where the goodness ends of it. No, it is not right. No, it is not fair. No, it is not just. It is a reminder that you are in a system of white supremacy. And I know the thing is, where you all get gaslit the most is people trying to tell you that, oh, you're doing this victim stuff and they trying to help and this, that, and the other. And you're dissecting and helping you. Just take a look at the way other folks are being treated. How much friction is between them and getting what they're asking for? How many obstacles are between them and getting what they're asking for? And are you being given the same treatment? Nobody's offering you $0 down for nothing. Nobody's offering to take care of your 20% down payment. In Jersey, where the housing is outrageously priced, by the way, and the closer to if you're in southern New Jersey, you might be all right. But the closer to New York you get, it's for folks who don't live up there and don't know anything about it, the closer to New York you get, it's out of sight. You get to Hoboken and all that. Jersey City is insane. Jersey City looks like Brooklyn over there now. It looks like Little Manhattan with the skyscrapers they're building over there. So there's nothing cheap. It's nothing cheap to begin with. So how in the hell is that helping you? It's not. So I want you to be aware of what you're seeing so that you're not telling yourself that this is all just in your head and that you're not doing enough. And maybe these folks are dealing with you in good faith. I don't know if the person you were talking to is just another fool or whether or not they are aware of it. But brother, this is math. This is just mathematics. There's no way that makes any sense. If you are saying this is for more black folk to have stuff, then what you're already acknowledging is that we're already deficient to begin with. You need to be giving one to each person. Because in white society, they got a house for each person. We don't. And even to the extent that we do, our homes are still not as worth as much as theirs. They made sure of that. It's not an apples to apples comparison. Your dad's house is not as worth as much as his white coworkers, even if they're on the same block. Remember, if the home appraiser come there and see some black pictures on the wall, let me drop this price by 30%. So once you realize that's reality, and you know it is, you're supposed to take that into account. How the hell are you gonna say somebody in the family? Him being in the family, it doesn't have the same effect for you as it does for anybody else. You don't have access to it. You already got things up against you. No, it's not the same. It's not the same, and it cannot be treated the same. No. If you qualify for it, we keep going until them numbers look like the numbers need to. When our numbers start looking like white society's numbers, okay, then we'll have another commission and another meeting and another committee and another survey. And we'll get together, and once we've run through all of our committees and surveys, then we'll see if we'll do something about it. But until then, no, don't be fooled.
Yes, sir. I'm on it, big bro. Thank you. Black first.
Black first. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Like I say, this is gaslighting on a cosmic level here. Well, we don't want too many of y'all to have houses there. We want to spread it around and make sure everybody else get one there. Okay, and then when you look up, nobody gets one. And here's the other thing. They're not making these other people qualify. What? They already understand interest rates are out of control. Do you realize what they're doing in California basically is circumventing interest rates while telling you that you need to qualify? They're telling the illegal aliens, by the way, let's circumvent them interest rates for you. Let's go ahead and exempt you and put you outside of the economic system. Let's make sure you're shielded from it. Yeah, interest rates, yeah, we're going to shield you from that. You show up and, hey, hold on a minute now. Hold on a minute, okay, here come the interest rate, here come the down payment. Do you got your 20%? Okay, you only got 10%? Okay, here's that premium mortgage insurance. All the rules go out the window. When these other folks show up, all the rules go out the window. And you're going to have somebody on Kamala Harris's campaign telling you otherwise. And please understand, if that woman gets elected, they're going to pass a bunch of laws there to fund this nationwide. Yes, they'll bring the illegals into it. If they don't pass a law at the federal level, what they'll probably do is pass the money on to the states. You can see that shaping up now. They'll come up with something like, the Reconstruction Act or the Infrastructure Act. They'll pass another one, and then they'll send the money to the states. They'll send the money to the states, and they'll let the states do the dirty work. So Kamala Harris doesn't have to pass a federal law. All she has to do is get the funding through Congress, and then they'll send block grants or something, and they'll just like when they built the prison industrial complex back in the 90s, sending the money to the states, they'll go ahead and pass a law, get the money to the states, get a block grant, and send the money to the states and let the states do it. Yeah, there's a frightening specter. It's like, now that you hear that, it's like, oh, that would work. Yeah, they could do that. Yeah, they've already done that. They've already cut their teeth on that one. They already cut their teeth on that one. They got white supremacy down to a science. All kinds of things that you and I don't ever see. You don't ever have anybody, Republican or so-called Democrat. The Democrats have never suggested anything like this for us. They sent us subprime mortgages. What? Remember the housing crisis of 2008? Well, remember, they didn't send us interest-free, spotting you 20% for the down payment. They didn't send that to us. They told us you got to put some money down here. At best, you might get some crazy-ass loan for zero, but those were very rare, actually. And then after that, adjustable rate mortgage. I mean, they dropped the whole damn freight on you after that. We never got offered this. Ever. While you sitting around talking about land as reparations. By the way, they never even offered us this. Your so-called black politicians, your so-called white liberals, they've never said to put this through in California or any other state. Oregon, they never said that. But then again, if you go to those places, what do you see? If you go to those places, what do you see? Please understand what you're looking at. They want to make sure that they have permanently excluded us, and you're going to have to lock this in for the next 100 years. So you need a state program that will fund it. It can't be left up to the private sector because the private sector does profiteering, and they would never be able to get enough finances under themselves to make themselves viable. They would be poor where they came from, and they'd be more poor over here. So they're like, okay, look here, we'll just spot you everything. Education for the kids, health care, mortgage. So beyond housing assistance, they are leapfrogging housing assistance altogether. They're leapfrogging housing assistance and going straight to mortgages. And then taking 20% off? Think about that for just a few moments, folks. 20% off. Hey, we'll spot you 20%. So in other words, black folk have to pay 110% of a home's value because we get overcharged. And the illegals are going to be paying 80%. They're basically getting a 20% discount. Do you hear me? They're basically getting a 20% discount in the with no interest in the current housing market. 20% discount. That's not competing. That's not equity. And you don't see Ed Blum or any of the other white supremacists out there saying anything about it. So what does that tell you? The white Democrats are doing this, and the left wingers are the ones proposing this stuff, and the right wingers are out there being quiet as church mice. Malcolm X warned you about that. Your white so-called liberals are the ones proposing this, and your white right-wing conservatives are sitting over there quiet. All of a sudden, they don't know how to file a federal lawsuit anymore. All of a sudden, they don't know how to sue for this kind of stuff. All of a sudden, they can't make a case. All of a sudden, they can't do that. So recognize when you have two political parties with both of them simply pretending to either be for you something or against something when they're both actually on the same page. Their job is just to tell you, I'm against that or I'm for that. And you so-called black politicians, please understand, the black male politicians are off in a hotel room right now as we speak getting Andrew Gilliamed. What? The black females are sitting around shaving their heads, shining their combat boots and their Timberlands. But what they're not doing is acknowledging or saying anything about this. They're not doing that. Oh, but then they've been told not to. That was the whole reason for them getting together on Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman. Them niggas sat up here and kissed their asses all this damn time, and they got them out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry. They got them out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry. This is stuff that's happening at the state level. But don't worry. If they have their opportunity, they'll have it at the federal level too. Let me go ahead and get over here on Zoom. Let me see. I got Gigi over here on Zoom. All right, Gigi, you are up next. What's on your mind?
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Hi, Gigi. I need you to turn off your YouTube speakers for me.
Yes, sir.
All right, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to know how you doing. I'm calling from Port St. Lucie. And I'm just wondering, with all the California mortgage, and I also heard in what were you saying, somewhere out west, where is the B1 legal representation? How can we find someone like Edward Bloom, and how do we get a foundation or something to get started to invest money so we can have some legal representation?
I've been talking about this forever. We don't have it. Period. Point blank. In discussion. Level with you. It is what it is. Not going to shade it with you. Not going to sugarcoat it. I've been talking about this forever. If we did, don't you understand nobody would have been arrested during the George Floyd uprisings? We had to get together here and start bailing people out, and that was what got the DAs and prosecutors to back down. It wasn't because there was some army of black lawyers. I got to keep this real with your sister. And you're down there in Florida. Now, you're on the more quiet side of the coast down there, but you're down there in Florida, so you know what I'm about to say to you next. Take a look at your so-called black lawyers down there in Florida. What are their priorities? Let's just call it for what it is. You got that fella down there, they made a movie with Jamie Foxx and them. He sued a funeral home in Mississippi. Okay, you see the dude's house, he got a big-ass pool with his initials. That's what they're doing. They're trying to style and profile. They want to buy another Rolls Royce. They want to get a bunch of Cuban chicks on the side. That's what they're using their law degrees for. Let's move on over to Atlanta. Atlanta is the home of that buffoonery. I got to call it like it is. Atlanta is the home of wannabe stunting, styling black attorneys. All they want to do is go buy a nice suit and give people their business card and tell people I'm an attorney. That's all they want to do. Can't name for you any significant cases they've won. Young Thug got to go get some white lawyers. The black lawyers can't name for you a significant case. So all we have is a bunch of folks out here symbolizing, styling, profiling, talking about their sorority or their fraternity. That's what we got. That's what the HBCUs produce. A platoon of useless Negroes. We can go over to California. In California, that speaks for itself. New York City, same thing. Same thing. So here's the only thing that would happen. The only way that would change is if we started paying scholarships or something ourselves. And that's not cheap, by the way, but that's the only way that would change that, because what generally happens if you do have an excellent black lawyer, the white firms are on their asses. Take a look at Barack Obama, president of the Harvard Law Review. Okay, how long did he stay next to black folk? Man, all of 5 seconds. You can name Johnny Cochran, and that's all you can name. We got Benjamin Crump running around. I guess he's doing the best he gonna do. But other than that, baby, you can't name anything like that. They're trying to figure out how to get next to the Democrats. They're trying to figure out how to be the person doing the toast at the next Boulé conference, at the next Jim Clyburn fish fry. That's what our black legal class is doing. Our black so-called legal class, number one, we don't have one. And number two, if we did, they're worthless. I'm calling it for what it is. They're worthless. I've been saying this for years. I said this right after Trayvon Martin. I doubled and tripled down on it after George Floyd. Baby, we don't have one. So if we don't, the only thing we could do is make a scholarship or something, and hope that one of these white firms don't jump in and spirit them away. Because, like, if you have a competent lawyer who's really good at a law school and stuff, they'll give them signing bonuses. That puts us at a disadvantage because we can't beat their pockets. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do anything. I'm just letting you know the odds we're up against. But you're saying where are they at? Baby, they bought off, they sold off, they bull jiving, they chasing hoes, they're trying to get Rolls Royces, they're trying to buy another Armani suit, they're working on getting a private jet, they want to have a big old swimming pool, they want to hang out down there in Miami and Brickell. That's where they at. That's where they are. They want to be in Hudson Yards, soon to be Lincoln Yards in Chicago. They want to be down there in D.C. in the Capital District and sit there in one of the booths at the Epic Grill. That's what they're doing. And I know because I've seen them there. That's what they're doing. That's where they are.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for giving us a call. I'm not going to shade it with y'all. I got to tell it just like it is. I got to tell it just like it is. They want to go down there and Buckhead and hang out. They want to sit down there at the Waldorf Astoria in the lobby. They want to show up at the Essence Festival and try to play big shot. But then we're not showing us any results. We don't have a black legal class, man. We don't have one. If we did, this garbage wouldn't get half as far as it does if we had one. If these other folk just knew that we had a credible black legal presence like everybody else does, they wouldn't even try this mess. YouTube wouldn't dare throttle our channels. These police departments wouldn't dare do what the hell they doing. These media outlets wouldn't try it. But that's because they know, well, y'all ain't really got nothing. The NAACP and whatnot, which doesn't serve us. That's about as close as you're going to get there, but I'm just letting y'all know right now, if it does occur, it'd be up to us. We would have to build it because your black legal class just wants to sit up, ball out, and go act like they running things. Get together with their mutual admiration societies and pump up each other's egos. But you can't name a single significant case that any of them are prosecuted. Because there's no glamour in that. Okay, most of them are not competent to begin with. They didn't go to law school to be competent. They went to law school because they were chasing titles. But they're not competent. When you do have some competent ones come through, the big white law firms got their eyes on them, or should I say they have their eyes on the big white law firms. Ed Blum would not be trying what he's doing if we had a credible black legal deterrent. They know we don't. I want y'all to understand, they know it. They know we don't have any real black legal credible representation. They don't, not for us. They know that. They know it. They're not guessing. They know we don't. That's why they can afford to be as reckless as they are. They're like, they ain't got nobody over there. There's nobody coming for us. They know who's who in the legal circles and in the legal professions. They know who's who. In the chat room, somebody said Malik Shabazz. Okay. Y'all, for those of you who are long-time listeners, you already know where I'm going to go with that. You already. I'm not going to say that they don't show up for some local cases. I'm like, okay, well, fine, but what about the big stuff? A minor case here, a minor case there. Okay, fine, got it. How about some of the big stuff here? How about some of the big stuff? In some case, I'm like, how in the hell is it that Jason Black can show up in New York City and make some things happen, but these so-called attorneys can't? And the other thing is, the first thing they want to do is go show up on the evening news. They go look for the first news camera they can find and hold a press conference and whatnot. I'm like, okay, all right, I guess, but can we do better than that? That's not going to stop Ed Blum, man. That's not going to stop this other stuff. Any ambulance chaser could deal with a case of police brutality. What about this racial stuff here that's going through state legislatures, man? What about that? What about that? So I'm just making you aware of what's going on out there. And yes, so you can start formulating solutions about that. I'm just telling you right now, your HBCUs, Jason, why are you against them? Because if the HBCUs that create so many of your so-called black attorneys, if they were worth a damn, tell me why the hell we sit in the situation we're in. Don't ask me about supporting any more HBCUs. Don't ask me about any more HBCUs. The HBCUs are worthless. Where do you think the black lawyers got that together? Let me tell you something. I like the Spike Lee movies as much as any damn body else, but this idea that the HBCUs just become some over-exaggerated social club. We just made that another alliteration of a social club. What the hell, with nothing required to get done. Nobody's saying that their goal is to get into politics. Nobody's saying that their goal is to overturn the system. Now, that's what they're not doing. I'm just saying it like it is. They're not doing that. And these so-called institutions are not preparing them. Hell, they don't even have that discussion. That's why we haven't had another Thurgood Marshall or another Johnny Cochran. Your HBCUs, they get them together and talk about styling and profiling. They don't get them together and say that your job is to overturn the established order. Now, that does happen with your Jewish legal professionals, by the way. Damn! Just saying. In the chat room, AS, you can go ahead and give us a call. In the chat room, I'll give AS a couple of minutes here. They can go ahead and give us a call. What do I have to be jealous about? Show me an HBCU. I've done more than any HBCU you can name. Why would I need to go there so I can get slowed down? I'm jealous that I'm not going backwards. I'm jealous that I'm not going backwards. I don't get it. It's another Biden bass pipe, baby. That's all I can imagine. All right, let me go ahead and see. I got Andre here on Zoom. Andre, what's on your mind?
How you doing? Jason Black, long time no speak, my man. Long time no speak, but thank you.
What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, it's funny how these cops have found they don't know how to solve the crime in New York. The last time I checked, if any crime was being done by a black person, they solved that shit overnight. But now all of a sudden, they have forgotten how to get rid of crime.
Yeah, it's time to let it fester. Time to let it blow up where you're at and whatnot. Those things are targeted. And it's very interesting you name like New York City. New York City, LA, Dallas, Miami. I talked about this in 2020. When the police want to, if they want things on their side, next thing you know, the streets get flooded with guns. Here comes a bunch of shootings. Here comes the local madman. A bunch of random crimes and stuff happen. Next thing you know, we need to give a bunch of money to the police. You give a bunch of money to the police. Oh, what do you know? Crime went down there. And everybody knows where the guns are coming from. You just out of nowhere. So you can't get an extra $5, but you can get your hands on a bunch of guns? Come on, man. You never heard anybody. You can't get your hands on 3 extra microwaves, but you can get your hands on 5 extra guns?
Look, Eric Gardner was killed in Staten Island for selling illegal cigarettes. Do you know how much illegal activity I see in New York all day, every day, and they claim they can't shut it down now?
Man, if I told you right now to go buy 3 illegal laptops, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. But you can go get 10 illegal guns, as regulated as they are, as federally regulated and state regulated. You can get your hands on a gun easier than you can a laptop. Don't tell me that's not them doing it. How the hell does that happen? Don't tell me that's not them.
It's a setup. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's a setup.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Like I say, man, when they want to make that stuff happen, that's it. If they want to shut it down, they do. They know where every criminal is in your neighborhood. They know where all of them are. That's their job. How do you think they can harass you? They know where everybody is. You got rules on guns all over the place. Next thing you know, you can get your hands on that with no problem. But if I tell you go find 2 iPads on the black market, you can't get that. You can't get that. If your life was on the line, you wouldn't be able to get that. That's not accidental. Their job is to engineer those things while simultaneously appearing not to. They're going to go ahead and engineer that while simultaneously appearing that they're not doing it. Let me go ahead and see if I can get a SOS up here on Zoom. Most unfortunate name. But we'll see if we can get SOS up here on Zoom. Looks like their connection might be a little bit slow. They might be trying to reach us through the Zimbabwe broadband. All right, SOS, I'll give you another 10 seconds here. Otherwise, I might have to tell you go ahead and call Robert Mugabe and see if he can send a technician. Send a technician by the house, by the tree house. SOS, we'll give you 5 more seconds here and see if you can get that connection going here or whatever, because it's steady saying it's connecting. So you might want to pedal. If you got one of them home generators there in Kenya where you got a pedal on it, if you got one of those, you might need to pedal a little bit faster, a little bit harder. You might have to do that. Okay, SOS, I don't want to tax you there, but SOS apparently is having difficulty getting that started there. So all I can say, SOS, is pedal harder, pedal faster. I know it's worth the effort, but pedal as hard as you can. It's just, they're working on getting the electricity going like it needs to be. They're working on it, so just call Sally Struthers. Tell her to send an extra bowl of rice. Folks, my job is to make sure you are fully informed. My job is to make sure that you're fully informed in these times of deception, deceit, gaslighting, political deception, and propaganda. It's my job to make sure you're fully informed. There are people telling you that these kind of programs are not out there. They're certainly not government sponsored. They don't exist. Nobody is giving illegals free housing assistance. Nobody's doing that. And I'm showing you, we're well past Section 8 vouchers. They're already leapfrogging the mortgages now. This is where we are. So going forward, be aware of who caused this. Be aware who's responsible for it so that you know who you're supporting and you know who you shouldn't be. And don't let other folk try to blame you or shame you or anything else into doing that. I'm doing this so that when you hear nonsense, you can be uncompromising. I'm doing this so that when you all hear somebody trying to lie to you and deceive you and tell you that everybody else is working and you just ain't working hard enough, by the way, who's offering any of you 20% down payment on your mortgage? What? By the way, to all the folks who say, by the way, black folk ain't working hard enough, what are these other folks doing to be deserving of they're leapfrogging you? You're a citizen and can't get 20%. So the government to go ahead and pay for the down payment on the mortgage with no interest? So what is it you're not doing to be worth that they are doing? Tell me what they're doing as non-citizens that makes them deserving of this, but you are undeserving of this. Just explain that to me before you try to say with we need to put our pants up and we need to work harder. Okay, well, tell me what they are doing that's deserving of that. Tell me what that is. Then I'll believe it a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank Shawnee, G-Max, Smokey Boat, and everybody else who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Thank you all for tuning in, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.